Now that we've created our application for Sarah Buckman, and we have looked at the process checklist summary video, we can now get into some detail of each of these 9 items within the checklist, process checklist. The first of the videos is the client needs analysis, which we will be looking at now. Now, to complete the client needs analysis, we obviously click on this milestone, the client needs analysis, and it will open up our screen with 4 sections that we need to fill out. Now, the first section is the details page. Now, the details page just basically encompasses our credit assistance information, so all our broker information, our licensee details, and our client notes. We then move on to the financial section, and that gives us an overview of our income, any ancillary income, credit payments, or credit card payments in this case, but any other monthly commitments. We do have the option here, you'll see, that we can put in a proposed amount for this loan. Now, the reason you would do this is if you wanted to see via the client needs analysis whether the client can afford the loan. So if the repayments on this loan were $1,500, I could put that in there. That's a monthly repayment. And what that would do is then, once we go down and look at all the living expenses that we've added in, any commented on any expected future living expenses change, you will see in here that in the analysis, the loan repayment of $1,500 has been included, which then provides us with a future net monthly surplus of $1,400. And therefore, we know that with this loan amount and these repayments, they can afford it. This section, by the way, is not it's not mandatory. So I can simply leave that as naught. But what it means is down here, when I get a total future monthly net surplus, that amount doesn't include the repayment on this proposed loan. So you can use this section to determine very quickly whether or not they can afford the loan. Or if you can just look at it and determine it yourself, then that's fine. We have our obvious questions there: financial security, difficulty in meeting financial commitments, judgments, attachments, change in circumstances, protecting lifestyle, all those standard things that we need to answer as part of our due diligence on the client. And then we also have our checklist, so we can tick off the items here that we have collected, particularly at the point of meeting the client. We then go back up to the top of the page here, and we can come across to requirements and objectives. So what we've done here, I've already filled these in just for the speed of this video and the training, but your first objective is to assist purchase an investment property at Geelong. If you have a specific address already, then you can put that in there. Loan amount, or sorry, amount of the asset or the investment property at Geelong. The second objective, and it's quite important here when that client articulates particular things to you in terms of their specific requirements, it's important that you put this in, because this will feed through into the preliminary assessment, which we know the client will sign. So we need to get their requirements signed off by them at some point later. And the best point to do that is when we are putting forward their requirements and objectives and matching it up against the products and loan amounts that we've recommended and preferred. So it is really important you capture that information. And then the amount of the credit sought, terms, how long they're going to keep the property for, and if there's any refinancing, or if it is a refinancing purpose, and what is the resulting benefit for the client. The final part of the client needs analysis is the loan features. So firstly, we have the loan worksheet to fill out here. So it's actually, there is a section called the loan worksheet, but part of the client needs analysis is a similar style to a loan worksheet, where we determine whether the client's equity or equity contribution and the loan amount they're seeking is sufficient to acquire the asset plus all the related costs with the purchase or with the transaction if it's a refinance. So once we know we've got a surplus there, we can proceed forward If there's a refinancing similar, we have to do the check to make sure there's sufficient funds, which includes covering things like exit fees or break costs if they're applicable. Any additional notes? And then we can move into the loan features: preferred loan type, interest rate type, and repayment type. And then we can move down into the preferred loan features. Now, the standard answer to all of these is optional. By putting in a yes or a no, you are specifying or concentrating the focus more, or the search parameters more. By putting optional, you are leaving it as a broader search. So just be aware of that. If you are not absolutely sure, or the client has not been absolutely articulate in what they want, then you're better off leaving it as optional, so that you can take in a broader spectrum of the market and then narrow it down once you have those products identified. And we simply follow that all the way down and complete where applicable. Now, the next step for us, we've completed each of these 4 tabs here. First step would be to save it. But if we want to create a document out of this particular data input for the client needs analysis, we go up here and we have 2 options. So firstly, print PDF. And what that actually does is it locks in all the data plus the date to the document. So by creating a PDF document, it will lock the date in and therefore lock your compliance in. If we create print word or hit print word and we create a Word document or docx, what it allows us to do is to edit that document further. So if you want to add more information into the client needs analysis that you are unable to add into in the standard fields listed in this particular screen, then you could go and do a Word document, print Word, make your changes. But it is the important thing to note is that by printing Word, the date does not get locked in. So if you save it as a Word document, when you open it up again, it will simply put the date you have opened it up on it again, which means you've lost your compliance stamp. So if you go print Word, make your changes, save it as a PDF to lock the date in. It is a really important point to know, because there are brokers, like I said, that want to make further changes to it, but you still got to go that extra step and take it back to a PDF document. Now, the other important point to note here is that by printing PDF or print Word, a copy of that will be put in the file section of the application. And we can show you that a bit later. But what it actually does is locks a copy of that down. So if you keep hitting print PDF or print Word multiple times, you'll have multiple versions of this saved in there. And you cannot delete the saved versions via this method of the compliance document. So your client needs, your quote, your preliminary assessment, your credit proposal. They will all automatically save and stay. So if you are unsure of whether or not you want to have a saved copy of it in the file section, simply go to save and hit save, and that'll save the changes you've made. And you would do that if you believe that there is more information you need to add, or the client needs analysis at this stage is not the final version that you will be using to proceed further with product search. For the moment, I'm just going to hit save, and I've actually saved my data input now. And by doing that, I have actually created a client needs analysis document. Now, just to confirm, if I go back into the related section, and when this loads, I can scroll down to the file section. I'll let the fields update there. I can scroll down to the file section here. You'll see right down the bottom here in files. And what you'll see here is a number of other client needs preliminary assessments that have already been in there. Now, that's where the copies go when you hit print PDF or print Word. So just remember, that's what will happen by printing PDF. And don't think for any moment that you can only have one copy, because often the client's information or the document needs to be updated with more client information or more lender information, whatever it may be. If you've got multiple versions of a document here, i.e. the client needs analysis, then just make sure you've got some notes in there that will explain why you've got multiple versions of it. Anyway, that is the completion of the client needs analysis within the process checklist. The next video in this pathway that you should look for is the product search for Sarah Buckman. Therefore, for the moment, we will close it and I will talk to you later. Thank you for listening.